So, what's one of those 4 points that you bring out with one day at a time?
Yeah. So if we're thinking about eternity, that sets your minds on things above, you've been raised with Christ. How is that going to help us live one day at a time? So here's 4 ways I think it helps. The first one I would say is an eternal perspective is going to remind addicts that one day their addiction will end, which gives them incredible hope today. If you're familiar with like the beginning of the opiate epidemic, and I think sometimes you still hear this in the secular world, I'm not as connected there as I used to be as far as how they're talking about treatment, but they used to call addiction diseases of despair. And there is hopelessness connected with that. I talked about that at the start of addictions seem very hopeless. And that is true. Anything that you worship that is not the living God is actually going to steal your hope, steal your joy. And so addicts, because they have been worshiping false God, they've been enslaved to their desires and worshiping something else, they often do lack hope. And so how do you instill hope in someone for the day? And I run into this all the time where addicts are like, oh man, my future just looks so miserable. I've been addicted for 50 years. I won't be able to make it. And I think it's because they're looking through the future without the lens of the gospel, and they're not looking far enough ahead. Because in heaven, the main joy about heaven is that we're going to be with God. We're going to see him face to face. But I think you flesh that out of like, okay, what does that really mean? When we're fully united with God, there will be no sin in heaven. It is a perfect community. I am happy to say that I will be out of work in the new heavens and the new earth, because a place like Redemption House won't exist. There won't be any detox. There won't be any Narcan needed. No one's going to overdose in the middle of the street. Every tear, Jesus says in Revelation 21, right, that there will be no more tears. All the former things will have passed away. All things are made new, which means every tear cried in addiction, the sin and the suffering that come with addiction, wiped away. Right? We will be fully recovered. And even the word recovered there is a bad word. We'll be redeemed. Heaven is going to be in the full presence of Jesus Christ, his redeemed people, a perfect creation. And the word relapse or falling back into addiction, that will be unknown in the new earth. And what a glorious truth that can give us hope to fight our addiction better today.
Boy, that's good.